email. Okay. Let's look at exercise 12. So here we're going to use some more ratios, and we're going to reconstruct a balance sheet. All right, so they gave us the balance sheet here, which I have over here too, and they told us that, I'm going to write this down so we can just look at this. Current ratio is 0.80, and the acid test equals 0.40. All right, so we've got to figure out what these are, okay? So I need to know what total current assets are, prepaid expenses, accounts receivable, all right? So let's take a look and see how we're going to figure this out. So I've got my current ratio here. And I know my current ratio equals current assets divided by current liabilities. Okay, so I have current liabilities, and I know what the current ratio total is. So if I go 0.80 equals current assets divided by current liabilities of 1900, I can solve for the current assets. I'm going to take 0.80 times 1900, and that's going to give me my current assets, which is going to equal $15.20. Okay, so $15.20 is going to give me my total current assets. Okay, so there's total current assets. Okay, so I have total assets, I got current assets, and now that I have current assets, I can solve for those plant assets right here. Okay, because total assets is the sum of the total current plus the plant assets and the other assets. So if I take 6,800, which is the total, and I subtract out 1520, which is my current that I just calculated, and the 2000, that's going to give me the remaining, which should be my plant assets. Okay, so that's 3280. Okay, so 3280. Now I got all of those. All right. Now I'm trying to figure out, well, what are my receivables and what are my prepaid expenses? Okay. They also gave me this acid test ratio here. All right. So I'm going to come down here. Well, what's my acid test ratio? My acid test ratio was one that kind of had just cash and some short term. So let's do acid test. It was cash plus short term investments plus net current receivables, and that was divided by current liabilities. Okay. Oops. So I know what current liabilities are, right? I know what cash is. So I'm going to go ahead and start solving for this. I'm going to put 0.40 equals $75 plus, I don't have any short-term investments, but I do have current receivables, which I'm trying to find out. And I'm going to divide this by the current liabilities, which is 1900. Oops. All right. So to solve this, if I take 0.40 times 1900 plus 75, that's going to give me my current net receivables. Okay. Oh, minus, not plus. Sorry. Net current receivables, which is going to get me $10 after I do all of the factoring. Okay. So my current net receivables are $10. All right. So 75. Oh, that's not right. Those are my prepaid expenses. I just calculated something wrong. Let me do that again. Plus 0.40 times 1900 minus 75. That's going to give me 685. What in the world? Alright, so that's 685. Sorry, I was thinking about something else. So 685, that's my current net receivables. So I just took the asset test ratio, which included that item I was looking for, and solved for that. The last thing over here on the assets I'm needing is prepaid expenses. Well, I know what my total current assets are, which is the sum of these. So if I just take my total current assets and minus all the assets I already have listed that I know, that's going to leave me with my $10 prepaid expenses. Okay, sorry I was getting ahead of myself with the $10. All right, so now let's come over here to the liability side. All right, so I've got total current liabilities over here. I've got the long-term. I need to find my long-term note, and we need to find total liabilities and stockholders' equity over here. First, let's start off with our accounting equation, okay? So if y'all remember, our accounting equation is assets equals liabilities plus equity, right? Well, I know what my total assets are, right? My total assets are 6,800, okay? And I know what my equity is, because that's given to me. I don't know what my total liabilities are, but I know what equity, it's 2,325. So I'm just going to take 6,800 minus 2325. And that's going to give me my total liabilities. So 6,800 minus 2325 is going to give me 4475. Okay, double check over here. Yep, 4475. All right. Now, oops, that's not that. 4475. So that's my total liabilities. So now that I know total liabilities, I can calculate total liabilities and equity by adding my equity, my liabilities together, should be 6,800, and solve for that long-term note payable here by taking the total and subtracting what I already had listed, and that's going to give me my long-term note payable. Okay, so this one might be a little confusing. All we're doing is using the information that we know to try to solve for what's missing, okay? Whether that's the equations, the ratios, or the accounting equation.